Alright folks, we have come back. It's now time for case 23 of Criminal Case Mysteries of the Past. Thanks to these three for helping me out. Death is a cabaret. Matthew, the Scarlet Slayer is a plague on this town, claiming one innocent life after another. There was even a murder committed because someone was suspected of being the Scarlet Slayer. We must stop this monster before more young women die. And before the Irish launch an all-out war against the Italians, whom they hold responsible. Senior Trooper Matthew, the Scarlet Slayer, is struck again. A body has been found in an upstairs bedroom of the Moulin Rose Cabaret. Another victim. Matthew, to the scene of the crime.
That's about all. Maybe a light sprinkle in windward sections of Valley. Hana could see a quick sprinkle, but you'll notice the radar for this time of night relatively quiet. Got a couple showers that I think are going to miss us here on Oahu, so could see a light sprinkle in Kahuku, but I think most of this misses us. Generally dry conditions heading into the night, but our front is coming, and we're going to start to see some changes as early as tomorrow. So starting out sunny in the morning, by the afternoon we'll start to see a couple of scattered showers. So past 3, 4 o'clock, you can see some scattered showers trying to develop on Oahu. Also Molokai, you can see a light shower too, maybe even leeward sections of the Big Island. As we head into Friday, that's the best chance of rainfall, or at least for
it looks like it is Gladys Perrin.
Heavier rain, and maybe even some thunderstorms. So, yeah, wet weather in our future. Tomorrow, though, not a whole lot. Sunny conditions to start with.
Fan.
Hot, middle 80s with those light winds. Winds will shift to the south and east by the afternoon hours. 81 by 5 p.m. We could start to see a couple of scattered showers again, really anytime after 3. It's going to be very hit and miss. Better chance of rain as we head towards Friday as that front gets closer.
Matthew, that woman, it's Gladys Perrin. To think she'd gone back to prostitution to pay for her mother's medicine, only to die at the hands of the Scarlet Slayer. And it is the Scarlet Slayer of that there is no doubt. The wounds are the same. And you're right, there is even a dove feather on the body.
Moving towards the islands as well. We've got details on that coming up.
You think the contents of this makeup bag might yield some evidence? Then let's dig in. And it appears there is a name on this fan partially rubbed away. Ah, goodness! I could have put an eye out. Agreed, Matthew. This clue just became even more suspicious. We must decipher the name on it. There's not a second to lose. Let us hurry before the Scarlet Slayer strikes again.
This morning, hoping the surf was small. We won't give it a good try.
And we'll start the autopsy now, and I'm going to get some stars. So sit tight, folks. See y'all then. Okay, I have now 10 stars. So let's go ahead and... Oh, let's get the fan out of the way now. MPA, RA, Imperatus. You're right, Matthew. The M. de Paradis this fan belongs to must be Maria de Paradis, the cabaret dancer we met when we first arrived in Sinner's Inn. We last spoke to the delightful Marla, when her fiancé Barnaby Wilson was murdered. I hope she's had sufficient time to mourn. Right, and we should probably ask her about this weaponized fan, too. I'm sure Mr. Paradis will have a fitting explanation for this, Matthew.
That's right. It looks like we're going to have a relaxing weekend. We've got details on that. We're also tracking a possible advisory level town as well. Details.
Case 23. So I'm going to share some coins right now. And let's talk to Marla. Mr. Paradis, it's a pleasure to see you again. Although I'm afraid we are here on important business. Senior Trooper Matthew found your weaponized fan, and given the murder, yes, given the recent spree of murders, can you blame me for having that around for protection? My sentiments exactly. One can never be too careful. Did you know Gladys well? No, she was a new hire. After Madame Zhang's brothel shut down, all the prostitutes came to the Moulin Rose for work. It seems whatever was after them came here too. Fear not, Mr. Paradis. Senior Trooper Matthew and I are here, and we will see to it that no harm comes to you. Thank you, Mr. Bontemps. Knowing that helps me rest easier. We are at your service, Mr. Paradis. And now, Senior Trooper Matthew, I agree it's high time we investigate the rest of the cabaret. Okay. Checkbook. There we go. $853, $900. Matthew, I know catching the Scarlet Slayer is our priority, but this Moulin Rose checkbook might be an opportunity to get a closer look at the Irish gang. After all, we know they run all the cabarets. If you can decipher this transaction number, we may learn more about what goes on behind the scenes. And there was something written on this bottle of pink beverage. Let's recover the message. Let's take care of everything right now. Oh goodness. Here we are, 18858. Here we go. Matthew, we know the Moulin Rose accounts must be held by the Irish gang, which means that transaction number will no doubt be of interest. Let's get it to Evie.
We'll see a few showers here and there, mainly across interior sections, but overall, I think Thursday's still looking pretty good. 83 kilo after a cool start of 6
9 hours in the pink bottle now.
there. Of course, 973 is the low. Generally, a clear night. Most of this afternoon tomorrow, starting out with about the afternoon, late afternoon. A few clouds, a few showers, also 85 degrees. But the best chance of rain, that's going to be for the
Matthew revealed the label's markings. The bottle's label reads, "To our best customer, compliments of the Moulin Rose." Is this a pun? Perhaps a reference to someone's name? It does sound familiar, I agree. Didn't we meet a Mr. Costa back in New Haven? He was in the Italian gang. Well, this label makes it clear. Mr. Costa is a frequent customer at the Cabaret. We had better have a word with him. Vinny Costa's back. Big surprise. Senior Trooper Matthew, long time no see. Mr. Costa, we found this bottle which shows you frequent the Moulin Rose Cabaret. Are you aware there was a murder here? Porca vaca, you're still suspecting me of these things? I just go there to relax, drink some pink paradise. We know the Italians have no love for the Irish, so you'll understand our suspicion to see you in the Irish part of town while Irish women are dropping like flies. Caspita, we Italians are the most innocent. We don't even like killing. I wish I could believe everyone who tells us that. We'll be keeping an eye on you, Mr. Costa.
Makes it real for them.
One popular high school design engineering students who created this bench.
And that notes in expanding his commitment to hire veterans tonight. Motel's ultimate goal to employ 20
Finally, the makeup bag.
independents and caregivers by 2020. So far, Hilton's hired 10,000 military members nationwide since 2013. Hilton Hawaiian Village Waikiki Beach Resort alone employs 100 veterans and veterans.
A bloody ticket. Matthew, there's blood on the ticket you found in the makeup bag. If we're lucky, this ticket will have been left behind by the killer. Let us send it to Viola for analysis. 3 hours. I'll see you guys when all of these 3 are finished. Okay, folks, you have come back. Everything is all done. Let's get the results of the body first. Hello, Matthew. Richard, you have a scalpel sticking out of your neck. Oh, yes. I was testing a new formula for anesthesia, and I completely forgot the blade was there. I suppose that means the anesthesia works. Not to worry, I skillfully avoided piercing any of the major arteries. Let me just put a bandage on it. Your killer also gave Miss Perrin something of an anesthesia, by the way, most probably to subdue her. I found chloroform soaked into the skin of her nose and mouth. Which is lucky for her because having her stomach cut open by the Scarlet Slayer would have been excruciatingly painful, as would have been waiting to die from blood loss. The skillful way in which the prostitute killer staged this murder shows that they have a strong knowledge of anatomy, and I'd be on the lookout for a large curved blade of sorts. So our killer knows anatomy. Matthew, we must collect more pieces to complete the body of this case. And the transaction. Oop. Matthew, the blood on the ticket you found at the crime scene is the victim's, but that's not even the most interesting thing about it. I'd say it's already plenty interesting to know that the ticket was left behind by the killer, the Scarlet Slayer. What else could be as interesting? Well, after testing the blood stain on it, I called on Evie to figure out what the ticket was for. This ticket was used to see one of my favorite musical films, The Phantom of the Cabaret. The Phantom of the Cabaret is here, inside your soul. I admit I'm not much for musicals, but the important thing we know is the killer went to see this movie. The Scarlet Slayer sure has dramatic taste. Matthew, after we're through with them, the Scarlet Slayer will be the Phantom of the prison yard. Transaction number. Evie, have you managed to trace the transaction number on the Moulin Rose checkbook? Yes, tracing the check number Matthew decoded revealed that the transaction was made in the Moulin Rose's name by Fiona Flanagan. This confirms the Flanagan's ownership of the cabaret, but I thought Finley was in charge of the girls. Doesn't Fiona take care of the alcohol? Either way, this checkbook shows she gave a sizable amount of money to Gladys Perrin. Why would Fiona give money to a prostitute? I agree, Matthew. We had better talk to Fiona about this. why she gave money to Gladys.
Big Star, Little Star. All new series premieres Wednesday, May 31st on USA.
Miss Flanagan, we were under the impression that in your illegal operations, your brother Finley was in charge of prostitutes while you ran the booze. But then Senior Trooper Matthew discovered this generous amount of money you gave to Gladys' parent. The girl's body is barely cool, and you are already sniffing into her finances? What principles? Gladys was good at her job. She had a talent for making her Johns thirsty, which was very profitable for beverage sales as well. So I naturally took it upon myself to reward Gladys for helping the business. Now her only reward is death. A waste of a good talent, if you ask me, and all this killing is bad for business. Poor Gladys had done her best to leave her life of prostitution, but I suppose desperate times called for desperate measures. In the end, she was pulled back into it only to fall prey to the Scarlet Slayer. And the Slayer is still on the loose. Miss Flanagan seemed to only harbor goodwill towards Gladys, whom she regarded as a lucrative employee. Unless Vinnie Costa has something to do with it, the Italians could be trying to undermine the Irish by killing their bread and butter. At least you can rest assured that delightful Mr. Paradis has nothing to do with this grisly affair, Matthew. Senior Trooper Matthew, we just got an anonymous tip. Someone said they saw your killer fleeing the scene after the murder.
It's my money. They're only $39.95 and they make me happy. Yeah.
Those are good reasons.
I know it.
And I'll see you guys for Chapter 2. Okay, folks, we have come back. Let's start Chapter 2, A Death at the Cabaret. Matthew, I still cannot believe Gladys fell prey to the Scarlet Slayer. But there can be no doubt it was them. They even let the dove feather on the body like with their previous victims. We need to catch the Scarlet Slayer before they can strike again, but I fear we're out of leads. Senior Trooper Matthew, we just got an anonymous tip. Someone said they saw the killer flee from the scene after the murder, running toward the Scarlet Road metro station. Matthew, this is the lead we've been waiting for. To the metro station.
I loved him. When I left to come back here, Richard was still alive.
If you didn't know that, then you did.
My dad. Once he found out I was seeing Richard again. It's all my fault. I wanted to be cured. I don't want to hurt my dad, but that changed the way I feel. And how can it be a sin if God made me this way? I don't understand. Why the hell did he kill Richard?
Ooh. Dove feather.
I'm sorry.
Chloroform.
I can't change you.
There we go.
I can't change. I'm not angry.
Nope. But I will get 10,000 more coins, so that's good. Blast! It seems the killer is no longer here. However, this dove feather matches the one found on Gladys' stomach.
It wasn't Richard's fault.
Something tells me that linking this feather to the Scarlet Slayer will be light work. I agree, Matthew. We should collect a sample of that brown substance. And what's this? A bottle of chloroform? Richard had mentioned finding chloroform on Gladys' face. You're right. He said the killer put her to sleep with it. Indeed. Let's see if recovering the rest of that label leads us to a new suspect.
Because you found out we were seeing each other.
That artist paint box is curious as well. We shall leave no stone unturned.
I was trying to protect you. I thought I failed. I heard last night, so I couldn't bear it.
If you didn't kill Richard, who'd have?
we go. Let us get the subsidy collected from the Scarlet Slayer's feather to Viola for examination.
So he kissed her in the car. He said the scandal would destroy our church. He insisted I...
He was the only person who knew you could go into your home for sins.
He could read. Shouldn't take you down. I've never been anywhere near this man's apartment.
Here we go. Excellent work, Matthew. It appears this bottle of chloroform belongs to a Dr. Irving Blackmore. It is logical enough for a doctor to possess chloroform, but I agree, Matthew. Considering chloroform was found on the victim, we should have a word with Dr. Blackmore. About his bottle of chloroform. Dr. Blackmore, Senior Trooper Matthew found a bottle of chloroform with your name on it. Of course you did. Have you ever witnessed a medical procedure performed on someone while awake? The screams are extraordinary. I can't say I've had the pleasure. I ministered to the girls at the Moulin Rose. There is a lot of disease and mistreatment here in Sinner's End. Mistreatment, including murder. Are you aware of the recent violence committed by the Scarlet Slayer? I am. Poor thing. The life of a prostitute is nasty, brutish, and short. We live in an ugly world, and theirs is an ugly existence. That is certainly a perspective. Thank you for your time, Doctor. As a doctor, he would know anatomy. I had that figured out from the start. Artist stamp. Matthew, what is this object you found on the artist's paint box? It appears to be some kind of stamp, a logo or signature perhaps. Do you think you could find the stamp's owner by cross-referencing it through our archives? By all means, do so.
In the criminal justice system, sexually based offenses are considered especially heinous in New York City.
His mother, Jalen Kemma, key to getting that answer, and because she helped the prosecution, she was able to be released back into the community on Hawaii Island today.
All right.
Ms. Kemma, what I'm going to do this morning is I'm going to grant you supervised release.
Her sentence of 1 year expired. Jalen Kemma, the mother of Peter Boy, is out of prison. A Hilo judge making that decision, county prosecutors explaining it.
Think about it in different terms. When we have military personnel.
Oh, I just got the 9 in time. Henri Leclerc.
We think about Hawaiian.
Apparently, this is the stamp that artist Henri Leclerc uses to sign his drawings and paintings. I've heard about him. He is especially known for doing paintings of the dancers at the Moulin Rose. I had not thought to interrogate Mr. Leclerc, Matthew, but perhaps he's witnessed something important while at the cabaret. Let us go speak with him.
That led to Peter Kemma Sr. pleading guilty to manslaughter and having to reveal where his son's remains are.
Yeah, I wanted what many people want.
Have you seen anything suspicious at the Moulin Rose?
But at the end of the day, these families, they wanted to
Mr. Leclerc, Senior Trooper Matthew found your belongings, and knowing that you frequent the Moulin Rose... Mountain Dew, the Scarlet Slayer is killing my beautiful muses. One by one, they pluck women from the air and crush them like butterflies. The horror in the air is palpable. I feel sometimes as if I'm living in the Phantom of the Cabaret. My brushes weep multicolored tears over the loss of Gladys Perrin. Mr. Leclerc, I can see you are strongly affected. In the time you spent at the Moulin Rose of late, Have you noticed anything amiss? Nothing. As an artist, my obligation is to observe, but I have failed to notice the shadow lurking behind the brightness of joy. Your sentiments are beautiful, Mr. Leclerc. If you do notice anything, please let us know immediately.
And she must remain living here on Hawaii. Reporting from Hilo, Brenton Awa, KITV Island News.
I'll see you guys when this is done. Alright folks, I'm under unlimited energy happy hour, so let's go ahead and speed this up. It wrings and twists the stomach for these juices. It brutalizes these beautiful stomach linings. Viola, is that a poem you penned about the Scarlet Slayer? No, I was quoting French novelist Balzac waxing rhapsodic about coffee. He said you had drunk 50 cups of coffee a day. I'm afraid I haven't had enough coffee of my own today to see how this connects to the dove feather Matthew found on the Metro platform. Well, the substance on that feather was spilled coffee. Given that the type of feather matches the one found on the victim, there's no question about it. Your killer drinks coffee. Matthew, when the time comes, I'll let you have the honor of pouring the Scarlet Slayer's final mug of bitter justice. Hold the cream and sugar. And now, what say you to having another look around the cabaret? I'm sure we'll find more clues there.
I've made a decision. Blanche Devereaux has given up sex. And what does that do to the morale of our boys overseas?
The first of 6 all-new original Saturday movies in a row. The Art of Us premieres Saturday, May 20th at 9, only on Hallmark Channel.
Liberty Mutual stood with me when this guy got a flat tire in the middle of the night, so he got home safe.
Yeah, my dad says our insurance doesn't have that.
What? You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Natural Bliss
Alright,
creamer
let's
should
see
not
if
be
I
watered.
can...
That's
Oh,
why
I think I see a
coconut
clue.
milk creamer is deliciously creamy. Made from Sumatran coconuts and irresistible flavor. All natural, just got delicious. New Natural Bliss Coconut Milk Creamer. Stir things up.
Moms always love homemade gifts. This Mother's Day, keep the tradition alive with personalized Yankee candles. And match your favorite fragrance with photos and captions made by you. Available in stores and online now.
Introducing new
Here we are.
Silhouette Active Fit with a thin design for complete comfort. They say move it or lose it.
And I still got
At my
it.
age, I'm moving more than ever. Because getting older is inevitable, but feeling older, that's something I control. Get a free sample at Depends.com.
Matthew, there appears to be a message written on this torn coaster. I'm sure putting it back together will be no challenge for you. And this is a page pulled from a medical text. Considering the importance of anatomy in this murder, we must find the owner. Yes, Matthew, the powder on this page could be essential in tracking them down. Let's gather a sample.
Pass that on for the allergy relief that starts working in as little as 30 minutes and contains the best oral decongestant. Live Claritin Clear with Claritin D.
When you're close to the people you love, does psoriasis ever get in the way of a touching moment? If you have moderate to severe psoriasis, you can embrace the chance of completely clear skin with Taltz. Taltz is proven to give you a chance at completely clear skin. With Taltz, up to 90% of patients had a significant improvement of their psoriasis.
Matthew, the message on this coaster reads, Gladys, I've got my eye on you.
Completely clear skin. Do not use if you are
Someone sent an ominous message to Gladys, and we need to figure out who they were.
May increase your
But
risk of
how?
infections and lower your ability to fight them. Tell your doctor if you are being treated for an infection or have symptoms.
Indeed, Matthew, I had nearly forgotten Mr. DeLobo can identify handwriting. Let us see what he makes of this specimen.
Serious allergic reactions can occur. Now's your chance at completely clear skin. Just ask your doctor about Taltz.
Just press clean and let Roomba help
This is
with your
12 hours
everyday
also,
habits.
so I'll get the results tomorrow morning.
A full suite of sensors automatically guides Roomba
Medical
to our home,
diagram.
cleaning under furniture, along edges, and in corners. And Roomba's patented 3-stage cleaning system agitates, brushes, and suctions dirt from your floors for up to 2 hours, recharging itself when it needs to, which means your floors are always clean. You and Roomba from iRobot. Better together.
Good morning, ladies. Dorothy, a popsicle stick purse for you.
Got it.
Sophia, a popsicle stick potpourri box, and for you, Rose, 2 lovely popsicle stick earrings.
So, Blanche, how are we enjoying
Matthew, let's put this powder you collected from that anatomical illustration under the microscope and see where it leads.
I'm worried. That's all you've been living on for 2 weeks. But if I don't eat the popsicle, how am I going to get to the stick?
I'm glad you found a hobby, but I don't think Blanche Devereaux is going to be happy making things out of popsicle sticks instead of making love.
Oh, I don't care about that anymore. I don't care about anything anymore. Life has no meaning. So, who's for popcorn? I don't know what to expect of myself with this thing in me. I just keep remembering how you're not supposed to overload electrical outlets. Maybe you just
Summer
shouldn't make love when
Sangria
you're
Blush. You're absolutely correct, Matthew. This is makeup powder. It appears to be Summer Sangria Blush. I would say I can't be sure, but I must admit that I am almost positive Summer Sangria is the exact shade of blush worn by Marla de Paradis. I had not expected anatomy to rank among her interests, but I'm sure Miss Paradis has a good explanation for the presence of this medical diagram.
Come on, Blanche, you don't know that. But listen, if that's the way you feel, maybe you should tell Simon so that he'll know where he stands.
For the last 2 weeks, he's been standing with his legs crossed. I'll tell him tonight.
About the medical drawing.
Blanche has gone without for 2 weeks.
Mr. Paradis, we understand this page belongs to you, and under the circumstances, we wondered... Oh dear, I realize this must look bad. Surely you recall that my late fiancé Barnaby was a doctor. I tore that page from one of his medical books as a keepsake when his family came to collect his belongings. It's all I have left of him. I stared at it so much I know more about human anatomy than I would have ever wanted to. With Barnaby, I had a chance at a better future, but now I'm stuck among prostitutes, sinking lower by the day. I used to be a beautiful dancer, but no one can avoid the filth for long here. Gladys was living proof of that. I feel like I'm living in the Phantom of the Cabaret, and all light is fading into darkness. I drink coffee to keep myself awake at night. I'm too afraid to sleep. Please do try to relax. Senior Trooper Matthew and I will soon catch the Scarlet Slayer and put this bloody history behind us.
The last time we made love was the last time.
And I'll see you guys when this is finished. Okay, folks, we have come back. Let's get the results of the coaster right now. Matthew, when you gave me this coaster, you said it would provide a challenge for me, but this was disappointingly simple. No need to be a braggart, so were you able to identify the handwriting? Despite the feminine aspect to the handwriting, this note was written by a male. The reticent openness of the O's shows the person is vulnerable beyond their tough exterior. The pointed arches on the M and N indicate bouts of irrational anger. And the curved shape of the I means that he has high blood pressure. Moment, everyone. Just let the phone ring. Looking at your list of suspects, there's no doubt this note was written by Vinny Costa. So Vinny told Gladys he had his eye on her? That sounds like stalking. I agree, Matthew. It's time we had another word with Mr. Costa. Mr. Costa, what did you mean when you told Gladys you would keep an eye on her? Coraggio, it's not what you think, Senior Trooper Matthew. I didn't know her that well, but it's true I was watching her. I had seen Gladys when she worked in the barber shop in New Haven. She reminded me of my Sorellina. I felt protective of her. When I saw her go back to prostitution and with the Scarlet Slayer around, I thought she could use some looking out for. But in my late nights at the Cabaret, all the espresso in the world didn't keep me alert enough to see danger coming. Dio mio, I did a terrible job. Matthew, we have much of the puzzle in finding Gladys's killer. One of our suspects is the Scarlet Slayer, but which one? Dr. Blackmore claims to have the prostitute's best interests at heart, but his feelings towards them match his ghoulish countenance. And while Mr. Paradis could possess the necessary knowledge to be the Scarlet Slayer, I will not believe it until I see it. I cannot say whether we are to believe Mr. Costa's story about protecting Gladys. His explanation seems innocent enough, but in truth, his note had malicious overtones. Matthew, we are so close to ending the reign of the Scarlet Slayer, we must remain vigilant. Oi, it's gonna be tough for you to remain vigilant protecting people from murderers when there's no one here. Mr. Flanagan, what do you mean? I mean, we need to have a word right now. We'll see what Mr. Flanagan wants in Chapter 3. See y'all then. Alright folks, we have come back. Let's start Chapter 3 of Death is a Cabaret. Matthew, the Scarlet Slayer is on a spree in Sinner's End. Their latest victim is Gladys Perrin. Poor Gladys was killed the same way as the previous victim we found, with her stomach sliced open and a white dove feather left on the wound. But the question remains, who among our suspects could have killed Gladys? Which of them is the Scarlet Slayer? Matthew, we must remain vigilant. Oi, it's going to be tough for you to remain vigilant protecting people from murders and there's no one here to protect. Mr. Flanagan, what the devil are you talking about? I mean, we need to have a word right now. None of me girls came in for work. They're all scared off by the Scarlet Slayer. No girls means no clients, and no clients means no money, and no money means I got a big problem. You coppers have been here acting the maggot long enough. Shove off. Now I've had enough. You can't dictate orders to Senior Trooper Matthew like that. I'm giving you till sunrise to clear out, or you'll feel the wrath of Mad Dog. Well, that was tense. But I don't doubt Mad Dog will make good on his threat. Matthew, let us make another sweep of the crime scene. Wouldn't surprise me if Flanagan is the Scarlet Slayer. Torn paper. Locked box. Matthew, what is the drawing peeking out of this folder you found? It looks like one of the young women from the Cabaret, but most of the drawing has been erased. Should we try to retrieve it? After so many investigations by your side, I know that a torn paper can be a valuable clue, and that box could be hiding all manner of secrets. I agree, we must unlock it. We have to hurry, Matthew, if we are to catch the Scarlet Slayer before they strike again, and before Mad Dog comes after us. Let me take care of everything now. Kind of a naked drawing, although it's a skeleton. Matthew, what a ghastly drawing. The head of a beautiful girl sitting on a skeleton's body. The stamp means it is Mr. Leclerc's work, but why would he draw this? We must talk to the clerk immediately. I agree. Mr. Leclerc, we were very disturbed to find this grim drawing at the scene of the crime. This is especially troubling in light of the Scarlet Slayer's pattern of violence toward women. What is your explanation? I thought I'd erased all traces of this work. But you see, this type of drawing is therapeutic for me, for it is not only the Scarlet Slayer that keeps me from my muses. It is the muses themselves. They laughed at me. They would not accept my money, even Gladys. I run to capture them like the butterflies that they are, but then they become bees and they sting. They say I am not man enough to be with them. But I am an artist. I use my knowledge of anatomy to deconstruct the beautiful things that plague me. In this way, I capture my butterflies and pin them to the page. Mr. Leclerc, if you also murdered them, we'll have to pin you to the page. Matthew, this is a poster for Prohibition, and there is a message written on it that says, Viper is going to the dogs. Wait, isn't Fiona called the Viper? This must be about her. As for going to the dogs, we both know the Mad Dog to which it refers. Did Fiona's side of the business suffer because of Prohibition? Could she have wanted to level the ground by killing Finley's girls? I agree, Matthew. We must talk to Fiona without a moment's pause. Sorry guys, I do have to spit up, but I'll try to wait until afterwards. About the booze business. Miss Flanagan, the Prohibition has surely taken a toll on your business. We know it's causing gang tensions. Perhaps enough for you to strike out against your brother's business. Well, this is a tale worthy of the Phantom of the Cabaret. It is equally fantastical. Whatever money Finley and I make from our ventures goes into shared family coffers. Why would I strike out at him, jeopardizing part of my own income? And yet the actions of the Scarlet Slayer have equalized your positions. The Scarlet Slayer is a nuisance to us both at the moment. But when we have a problem, we sit down and talk it over with a cup of coffee. As with the organs in the body, our work must be harmonious, and we must understand our individual tasks in relation to the whole. I'll admit, Miss Flanagan, you have a way with metaphors, but if we find that you have been acting vengefully against your brother, you'll get to know prison on a cellular level. She's in the running now. Moment, folks. Okay, I had to spit, and I did so. That's why I paused. Well, I'll be happy when this cough leaves me. Oh, I didn't even have to move my mouse. Cool. That's always nice. Matthew, this box is full of medical files. I must admit their contents are all gibberish to me, but Richard should be able to make sense of them. Let us deliver them post-haste. I'll see you guys when this is done. Alright folks, we have returned. Let's get the results of the medical documents. I'll cut straight to the chase, Matthew. The box you brought me was full of medical records on all of the employees of the Moulin Rose.
He doesn't say any more till you get him out of range of the death penalty.
These medical examinations were performed by Dr. Irving Blackmore, a man of dubious methods. How so? It seems good Dr. Blackmore does not believe in sedating his patients. His records mention resetting fractured bones and sewing up wounds, all without anesthesia. Surgery without anesthesia? How barbaric. Precisely. Even I wouldn't do that to other people. After having tried it on myself a number of times, I wouldn't wish such an experience on anyone. Good point, Matthew. If he was treating prostitutes this way when healing them, one wonders what else he might have done to them. Let's go talk to Dr. Blackmore. About his inhumane treatment. Dr. Blackmore, we found your medical records. Your treatment of the cabaret ladies is nothing short of torture. Please, Mr. Bontemps, torture is such an ugly word. If you go on talking like this, you might put me off my coffee. Anyway, I didn't do anything these women didn't deserve. What could they possibly have done to deserve such cruelty? They were born women. Women are naturally sinful. Do you think it's mere coincidence? Do you think it mere coincidence that a neighborhood called Sinner's End houses a number of cabarets and brothels? If you have seen the film Phantom of the Cabaret, your metaphor is disgusting and you have a troubling worldview. If we discover that you are behind the Scarlet Slayer's heinous acts, I can't say I'll be the least bit surprised. Matthew, we still haven't found the Scarlet Slayer, and time is ticking. Finley has given us until sunrise before he starts using his special brand of motivation. His sister Fiona might not be far behind. She says these killings are hurting both their interests. But they're not all we have to worry about. I can't keep from seeing Dr. Blackmore's gargoyle-like visage, and he displayed a fiery rage toward his female patients and women in general. Meanwhile, Mr. Leclerc is angry at the prostitutes for not sleeping with him, but would he go so far as to kill them for it? I agree. Answers might be found at the Scarlet Road metro station where the killer was last seen. Let's go quickly, Matthew.
Anybody ever deserved a needle? The deal's for Captain Dancing and the mailman. What about these?
The deal includes these.
Got any paper clips?
85's ready? My wife and I brought Kitty back to the loft from the hospital this morning. This was in the entry, like somebody slipped it under the door.
Check something.
We were at the loft yesterday afternoon to make sure everything was ready for Kitty.
Check something quick, folks. If you have seen the film Phantom of the Cabaret, the depiction of the plague is just a comparison. Is a just comparison. Here in Sinner's End, the plague is spread not by rats, but by women. That was the part that I had missed.
I guess they don't want you driving around on 3 wheels. Smart.
With Liberty Mutual new car replacement, we'll replace the full value of
Have the cat equipped.
Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
It's the Ace. Buy one, get one free sale.
Find amazing buy one, get one free deals throughout the entire store. So many deals, we can't show them all. Hurry in. The Ace Buy One, Get One free sale ends Sunday.
Let's do this.
The Colonel spends all his time working to make a good life for us.
I've done a lot of bad things in my time.
The stuff your granddaddy and I did still keeps me up at night.
There's oil underneath this ground. You have to protect what's yours.
Are we good?
Of course we are. And the colors.
There we go.
New episodes premiere Saturday nights at 9 on Sundance TV.
I got the first star.
Just unlimited data. We want unlimited entertainment, so we can stream unlimited action, punch unlimited robots.
Matthew, look at that blood-stained blade. Richard told us to look out for a curved knife, and this one certainly matches. This is our murder weapon. You're right. While the blood is most certainly Gladys's, the other pale substance on the handle might lead us straight to her killer. Let's collect a sample. And I won't usually deign to get my hands dirty, but I wholeheartedly approve of your curiosity about what might be contained in that pile of trash. Matthew, we must act quickly to catch the Scarlet Slayer before they add another to their list of unfortunate victims. Alright.
Every Thursday.
Alright.
Every Friday. 2 days of back-to-back Law and Order.
If you move funny, I'll pull your head off.
Twice the crimes. Twice the cops. Twice the law. And twice the order. Objection. The Law and Order Marathon.
Gladys's necklace.
Friday starting at 3.
There was a necklace in the trash? You're saying this used to be Gladys's necklace? It must have been torn off her neck during the murder. Let's get this necklace to Viola as soon as possible.
My family and Roger and a friend I've known since we were kids. There must be some other people who knew. You're not listening. What if you've got the wrong person? What am I supposed to do?
The police will look
Here we go.
find out who left the note.
Matthew, let's get the sample you collected from the murder weapon to Viola right away.
Roger Lansing was in Chicago meeting with a client when the note was left.
A childhood friend who calls her Kitty lives in Denver.
That's going to do it for this, and I'll see you guys when both of these are finished.
Kitty is in the Hamptons.
He has a girlfriend.
See y'all then. Alright folks, we have come back. Let's get the results of Gladys's necklace and put a killer behind bars. Matthew, I'm starting to fear the Scarlet Slayer nightmare will never come to an end. Quite right, Viola. If I didn't have Matthew to keep me going, I might have lost all hope. But tell us, what have you found on Gladys's necklace? Is there any trace of the Scarlet Slayer? Yes, I found tiny fibers caught on the necklace string. The fibers are consistent with pinstriped clothing. Your killer is definitely wearing pinstripes. Quite right, Matthew. If the killer is already wearing stripes, a jail uniform shouldn't be much of a change for them. Matthew, the substance you collected off the murder weapon brings back memories of my childhood. What kind of childhood did you have? Well, I worked at my parents' apothecary. I used to help them mix the salves. This substance brings me back to those days. You see, it's topical cream for scar tissue. It must have gotten on the murder weapon when your killer wielded it, so we know your killer has a scar. This certainly puts a scar in Scarlet Slayer. We're closing in on them, Matthew. Matthew, we now have enough evidence to stop the Scarlet Slayer's reign of terror once and for all. We cannot waste a moment.
We use Home Advisor for all our home projects.
Any project.
Big or small.
You just tell them what you need.
You get instantly connected with a pro who can do the job.
It's completely free to use.
Go to homeadvisor.com.
ChoiceHotels.com. Bada book, bada boom.
That's it?
He means book direct at choiceHotels.com for the lowest price on our rooms guaranteed. Plus, earn free nights and instant rewards at check-in.
Yeah, like I said.
Book now at choicehotels.com.
At Southern New Hampshire University, we're proud to be one of the most affordable providers of high-quality online education. We're nonprofit and have kept our tuition the same for the last 5 consecutive years. Find your online program today at SNH.
Oh, would you look at this? It looks like it's... Yep, it's definitely Fiona Flanagan.
APB is out on Rosie Rinaldi. Her photos on the way to every police department, toll booth, station within 100 miles. Amber alert. It's in the works.
Fiona Flanagan, you are under arrest for the murder of Gladys Parent, as well as the slaughter of countless other women. You are the Scarlet Slayer. You must be joking. I told you it's bad business practice for one to murder one's employees. Yet it was your coffee on the feather, the same kind of feather you left on your other victims. Is that all you've got for this ridiculous charge? Coffee and feathers? You knew about anatomy to enough about anatomy to eviscerate Gladys. I wouldn't eviscerate her. I told you, I liked the girl. I had taken her under my wing. Stop this charade, Miss Flanagan. You left fibers from your pinstripe suit behind when you ripped Gladys's necklace away. We know you're the Scarlet Slayer. Confess! Well, well, well. You've really done your homework, haven't you, Senior Trooper Matthew? Yes, I did kill Gladys and those other girls as well, but I was doing them a favor. A favor? You slaughtered them. Finley slaughtered them when he put them in his employ. Do you have any idea what these girls are put through? Trust me, a little nip now is better than what life had in store for them. You're claiming you did this out of some twisted compassion for them, not out of spite for your brother? Of course not. Him or someone else. It made no difference. The only reasonable thing to do was to liberate these girls so they weren't taken advantage of anymore. They are fallen doves. I merely returned their wings to them. Doves? Wings? You're out of your mind. We've heard all we need to hear. Fiona Flanagan, you're under arrest. We are here today to judge the actions of Fiona Flanagan, accused of the murder of Gladys Perrin and many other young women. Wait, why isn't the defendant here? Did no one let Miss Flanagan into the courtroom? Actually, Your Honor, Fiona Flanagan isn't here. What do you mean she isn't here? Where is she then? We don't know. She escaped on the way to the courthouse. What? Senior Trooper Matthew, we must find her at once. We cannot have an unhinged serial murderer on the loose.
First couple of months after he got out of Sing Sing, Parnell did everything by the book. He made his appointments, he passed his fist test, then he stopped showing up. You didn't violate his parole? Of course I did. But finding a loser like Parnell's way down on my scumbag totem pole. If you tried to
We'll go to By Hook or By Crook 5-6 and try to locate Fiona Flanagan after this. But first, look at the other ones. Vinny Costa cleared early. Cleared from the start, rather. Irving Blackmore, no scar. Henry Leclerc cleared early. He had no coffee. Marla de Paradis, no pinstripes. It was Fiona Flanagan. I'll see you guys for By Hook or By Crook 5-6. Okay, folks, we have come back. Let's start the additional investigation of By Hook or By Crook 5-6. Matthew, is it true that Fiona Flanagan is the Scarlet Slayer and that she's escaped? Yes, just after we had arrested her for the murder of Gladys Perrin. She apparently made a run for it during transit to the courthouse. Matthew, we must find Fiona as soon as possible. Astute thinking. If she was running away, she probably went to the metro station. Let's start our search there. Before you go, Matthew, could I see you? I have a very urgent matter with which I need your help. Can't it wait? We have a serial murderer on the loose. Don't worry, Bontemps. Go to the metro station and I will handle Charlie. Matthew, maybe you can join me when you're not in such a rush. Alright. Okay, let's see. Stars, handcuffs. Oh! Sawed off handcuffs.
I did 4 years hard time for you, and I have never asked you for anything. Please, tell me what happened to Rosie. Rosie, what? Your granddaughter. Where is she?
Okay.
That's right. The Rosie's all grown up.
These are police handcuffs, Matthew. That means Fiona was definitely here. But they've been sawed off, which means someone helped Fiona escape. Indeed, Matthew, we should dust the handcuffs for fingerprints to see if we can find her accomplice.
Ready for another job? Frank, listen to me. We saw the 100G in your suitcase. What was it for? I gotta pay the guy out. I lost his jewels. Right. And he that's all. He said he'll hurt Rosie and I got something to grow up. We got 2 minutes. I pulled every jewel robbery in the last year. Found only one major heist.
Now that we've revealed the fingerprints on the handcuffs, let's get them to Evie for identification.
It's amazing. My whole life I never made a score half this rich shit. The report says the
6 hours.
through the front door, got into the safe within half
And let's talk to Charlie now.
the alarms, and then left out the back window. It's no evidence.
It's gone. All gone. All of it. Charlie, I don't understand. All of what is gone? My entire life savings. You mean you've been robbed? What happened? Well, I've been communicating with someone. I like making friends through my radio telegraph. And, well, they told me that a prince from the far-flung African monarchy of Mazunda had been kidnapped. They begged me for money, said the prince would pay me back once he was free, but now it's all gone. Oh, Charlie, only you would be so kind-hearted as to fall for such an obvious ruse. Do you have any idea who it might be, or how to find them? I've traced the swindler's radio signals to the Cabaret, but that's as far as I've gotten. Well, it sounds like we'll have to take a look around the Moulin Rose, won't we? Come on, Matthew, let's give the swindler what for.
Government doc can stop me from interviewing him. No, Frank stays here until I get a lead.
Detective Stabler, I gotta talk to you. What is my daddy doing here? Get your hands off my father, you son of a bitch!
I've done more for your father than you. Don't talk to your husband.
He's not trying to give me a hand anymore.
Well, at least I stayed home when I was. Douchebag, huh? At least Rosie didn't go missing on my watch.
Because you took her, you pervert!
I would never hurt her! You rancid bitch!
First response is always ridiculous. Think of your daughter. Come on, let's take a look. You just come here to rile him up. You're gonna help us with your father.
Came here.
Torn paper.
You have 1 hour to bring me $100,000 in a marked bill where I killed a little girl. Slowly, painfully. The tunnel off West Idea, Central Park.
When did you get this?
Right after Detective Stabler called. Like 20 minutes ago. I ran right over.
Woman's hat. There it is.
I was gonna use it to bribe GMP, but he's gonna have it. I hate to see a cute thing cry.
Well, there's no one here, but I agree. This torn piece of paper looks like it could be a lead.
Close to the vest.
Matthew, let's piece this paper back together. This might take us straight to Charlie's crook.
We're gonna get your daughter back.
I can't believe this is happening to me.
That's why you have to do exactly what we tell you. You're gonna wear this in your ear so you can hear our instructions.
Okay.
Okay? Now, if anything goes wrong, I want you to scratch your ear with your right hand. Okay? That way we'll come rushing in.
Wrong. What could go wrong?
Nothing.
These notes are about Charlie, Charles DuPont, country of origin Switzerland, youngest child and family of wealthy bankers, extremely naive.
Thank you.
And there was a transfer of a lot of money. No wonder Charlie was in a full panic. This is definitely the swindler's record. You're right, Matthew. We know a con artist ourselves. Maybe Diego could tell us more about this crook if we bring him these notes. Let's tell Diego de Lobo. Madeline, how lovely to see you. Is that a new hat? We don't have time, Diego. We'd like you to look at these notes. Someone has cheated Charlie out of thousands of shillings, and we think you might know them. Just because I'm a con artist, you think I might know every crook in Concordia? Well, you're perfectly right. Let me have a look at these notes. Ah yes, I know exactly who this fellow is. That lad has got no honor. You swindle people in person, not through radio waves. Well, who are they? We need to go after them and get Charlie's money back. My dear, if they smell a whiff of the police, they will disappear and never be seen again. No, leave this to me. I will contact them and send them on a fool's errand. Matthew, meet me back at the Moulin Rose. I'll make that crook leave their equipment behind and we'll get Charlie's money back in no time. Oh, but you better wear this. You don't want the crook to sniff you out.
Moms always love homemade gifts. This Mother's Day, keep the tradition alive with personalized Yankee candles. And match your favorite fragrance with photos and captions made by you. Available in stores and online now.
At Planters, we put fresh roasted flavor into every can, which has its drawbacks. Guys, know anything about this missing inventory? Wasn't me. The cheeks don't lie, chat. Irresistibly Planters.
Radio telegraph box.
We think so. That's why we put so much thought into how to match you to the perfect place, so you can get straight to an apartment that checks off everything on your wish list. Start your search today at apartmentlist.com. Your wish list come true.
America is a country of privilege. That's ultimately America is a white country.
Here we are.
It's a man's game. Women are more suited to maintain and household. We bring a level of civilization. We are more interested in power. We're more interested in...
See, Matthew, just as I planned. The crook has gone away and left his radio equipment behind. And you're saying this radio telegraph will lead us back to Charlie's money? Well, Matthew, I guess there's nothing else to do but unlock that thing.
What was A? Bath and Body Works. And their favorite, Suave. I am impressed. 3 fragrances preferred over Bath and Body Works. Shopping for your pets has never been easier. Introducing Chewy.com.
I'm a stay-at-home mom with 2 young boys, so I'm super busy with their schoolwork and sports. So shopping online at Chewy makes it easier. It's convenient and it's reliable. We love the free shipping. Treats, toys,
99691.
are delivered right to our doorstep. I recommended Chewy to my neighbors and my friends because the prices are great and they love it.
Save 20%
All right.
on your favorite brands and get fast free shipping. Shop online at Chewy.com.
I did everything I could to make her party perfect.
Almost everything. You know,
Here we go.
10 houses could get hit by an expensive septic disaster, but for only $7 a month, avoid septic disaster.
Matthew, you got the radio telegraph open. Diego, will this be enough to trace Charlie's money? Of course, this is an advanced model which records messages sent and received. I can discover exactly when and where the money went. Leave it to me. Fantastic news, Matthew. Let's go tell Charlie.
Don't tell me you botched the drop.
It was a setup. Liz disappeared down a storm drain with the ransom.
You know that son of a bitch, Pete? He works for the sewer department, so they got Rosie?
Kidnaps for real. Looks like Liz ripped off Frank.
Now let's tell Charlie his money is safe.
Snatched Rosie off the ladder.
I told you she was a no good bitch.
Charlie, good news. Matthew found the crook's radio telegraph equipment, and Diego is working on getting your money back as we speak. I'll have to go and thank Diego. But more than that, thank you, Maddie. It's all in a day's work for Matthew and me. Now please be a little more careful when talking to strangers on your radio telegraph. Absolutely. And to repay you for your efforts, Matthew, here's a piece of the spoils. Well, that's taken care of.
Yeah, he'd know who did that, Joe Likes. But he won't tell
I'll
you.
see you guys when fingerprints are finished. Folks, we have come back. Let's get the results of the fingerprints from Evie. Evie, have you discovered who helped Fiona out of her handcuffs? I have. The fingerprints are a match for Seamus O'Neill. Seamus? Didn't you last see him acting as a delivery boy for the Flanagans, Matthew? Apparently his responsibilities now include aiding and abetting. We must speak to Seamus before Fiona gets too far from our grasp.
Pretty fast. If you can't track your pizza, you could miss it.
Order 2 medium 2-topping pizzas for just $5.99 each and track them on your favorite device.
Let's see what Seamus has to say now. Seamus O'Neill, we found your fingerprints on a set of handcuffs used to detain Fiona Flanagan, also known as the Scarlet Slayer. It appears you helped her escape. Fiona was the Scarlet Slayer? Japers! I thought she was arrested on account of the booze. She showed up here and told me to cut the handcuffs off. She's the boss, so I did what she told me. You still helped a convict escape, in total disregard of the law. She should be grateful to have such an obedient employee. Fiona is a lot scarier than the law, to tell the truth, but there was one thing I didn't do for her. What was that? She said there was something of hers she needed in the bedroom above the cabaret. She told me to get it for her. I told her I'd go looking for it, but I took my chance to escape and never saw her since. Whatever it is she wanted, it's probably still there. Then we shall go search for it. You cooperate with us so we won't throw the book too hard, but you will get some days in lockup for aiding and abetting. I'm sorry, Matthew. I had no idea I was helping a murderer escape. The thought makes me a little woozy. Could we have something to eat before you continue your search?
Save 30% off an amazing selection store-wide for Mother's Day. And celebrate Mom with a gift whose meaning goes beyond just one day. A gift that
Let's see if I can
sales. Diamond Store. Ballpark Frights got their start in 1957, right here in the ballpark. They soon became a summer tradition, passed from one generation to the next. With a taste of 100% Angus beef.
Fiona's wallet.
Bring on summer. The typical vacuum head, it can struggle with large debris and stuff in dust. At Shark, we asked, what if the vacuum head could do more? So we removed the front wall and added a rotating soft brush. So while deep cleaning carpets,
here we are.
And directly engage floors for a
Okay. Matthew, this is Fiona's wallet. It's a safe bet this is what she wanted Seamus to retrieve for her. With every second that passes, Fiona gets further away from our grasp. Let's have a look inside this wallet and see what she was after.
Computer. You won't find anything on mine.
Does anyone else have access to your computer?
No, why?
Come look at this.
Oh, God, that's what we photos. Man, you can't tamper with the evidence. How did this get on my computer? And I'll pop up. Somebody downloaded them. I don't watch porn.
Well, it's not illegal.
This one is.
A token.
Possession of child pornography is a felony.
Matthew, what is the purpose of this curious coin you found in Fiona's wallet? You're right. We shall have to take a closer look to parse out what this imagery means. Perhaps it will give us an indication of where she went.
Owen freely admits that he trolls fantasy rape websites.
Pam says she's not a member, but her porn stash says different.
Her computer lied. I found a Trojan horse in it.
Meaning someone downloaded the porn remotely.
Yeah, through a cyber backdoor.
Can you prove it was Owen Walters?
I don't think it was. There was no spider on his computer.
Are you saying there's a second rapist?
Burn my computer, I'll confirm it.
So, Owen read the "Hey Big Boy, come up and rape me sometime" post and was dumb enough to believe it.
If that's how it played out, she
Alright.
his arrest.
Why? It's still rape. She said no and he didn't stop.
He didn't know.
Still got the 9.
Fantasy rape's twisted lexicon, no, actually
Opium den token.
Sex crimes no means felony rape.
Matthew, this is a token for an opium den. I've heard people go to these hidden away places to smoke opium, though of course I've never tried it. If Fiona has this in her wallet, it means she must frequent those places. This is a major lead. Except you're right, Matthew, there are a number of opium dens in Sinner's End, so the question becomes, which one? Matthew, I'll put every patrol on the case. Hopefully we'll get an answer soon.
Somehow would find anyone who'd show up at my house, my work. Stalked me for a year and a half.
Hold on, so you broke
Matthew, thank you again for helping me get back my life savings. I am pleased to hear it worked out, but we've still got the urgent matter of our escaped murderer, Fiona Flanagan. In her wallet, we found that token for an opium den, so we should start looking there. But which opium den is it? Matthew, I found it! The token Matthew found is for the Black Bloom of Dreams, an opium den not far from here. So that's our leader where Fiona might have gone. Matthew, let's away. We've got a serial murder to catch. So it looks like it's going to go into the next chapter. Or at least in the next case.
Unless he followed her here. You are correct, oh wise one. Tyler still has a valid license in Rhode Island where he's registered to vote.
That's a 3-hour drive from here.
Well, why commute when you can stalk up close and personal? I called Con Edison. I guess who got the utilities turned on in their new place in Manhattan last month? Tyler Brunson. Right. Of all the apartments in all Manhattan, why would Tyler choose this one?
May 4th. Alright. That will do.
And over here, this is Pam's.
Son of a bitch is right across the street.
But we still need a warrant.
I know, somebody get Cabot on it. I gotta give Pam a heads up. He's been watching me. I'm locked in a lease here.
Alright.
My savings are gone. If I go around, he'll just follow me there. And we're going.
4 new ones.
You know where it was just a year. He's always trying to get back together. I don't know why. We never got along. He immediately made him in his shoes. Body issues and control issues and anger issues. Did he ever physically hurt? I wish he had.
4 new ones.
Every time he brings up a restraining order, the judge, it was a huge coincidence. He'd shown up at the same restaurant or store.
Only 2 new ones.
But you can't. No one can. He's never gonna leave me alone.
Alright.
Not until one of us is dead. The restraining order that you had in Rhode Island, is that still in effect? I don't know. I was supposed to give my address if I moved, so he'd know where to stay away from. Kind of defeats the purpose of running away. So I'll get you another one. Here.
Alex.
Judge Kohler, how are you?
Lot better than poor old Al.
Alright, that'll do.
Gallbladder surgery.
Oh.
Think I can do?
And I'll see you guys on May 4th.
Okay.